Okay, I thought I'd give you a rundown of how this works using Canva to build a certificate or business cards or mailing addresses, anything that has where you have to do a data merge, where there's multiples that you're trying to create the same artwork with different data inside of it. I'm in Canva and I'm going to create a new design. I'm going to do just a letterhead, I think is what I want to do, 8.5 by 11. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna just do a uh, certificate. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna just do a certificate. This will be easy. I'm gonna use just a default first one that's here. The only thing I'm gonna do to this, and obviously you can edit it however you want, and this layout could be for anything. Anything that has to do with text or data that you want to merge into this. So the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the name in the middle. I'm gonna delete it. And I'm going to just have this. I'm going to save this as a PNG. It has to be a PNG. It can't be a PDF because Slides, Google Slides, does not take a PDF. Takes a PNG. And I have the free version, so I'm going to just download this lowest, or the highest, I should say, that they give me resolution-wise. So I'm going to download that. While that's downloading, I'm going to jump over to Slides. In Slides, once you log in, you're going to be presented with this window. We're going to just make a blank slide. The first thing you want to do, you can select all this and delete it. The first thing you want to do is go up to File and Page Setup. And you want to make the page setup the same size as whatever you're merging to. So mine is going to be an 11 by 8.5 inches. I'm going to do that, and that'll be the size of that. And then I'm going to drop in. I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to go to Image and upload the image I just downloaded from Canva, which is this certificate. It will come in a little small. I've always noticed that, so I just make sure it's all the way up in the corner, and then I just make it the size of the of the sheet. So there you go. There's your certificate or whatever artwork you want. And then I'm going to add a text box. I'm going to draw out my text box, and once I get it drawn out, I'm going to make it the size. Actually, before I can make it the size, I have to click on this little icon here and say, do not auto fit. I don't want it to do that. I want to make it the size I want to make it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it just big enough so that I can fit if I have a really long name, I could fit it in here. Um, and I want to center it inside here so it's always centered top to bottom and left to right. In order to create what they call a tag, where that's what's get merged to, you have to use the less than or caret and then the greater sign. So whatever the name is, whatever you're going to call your tag goes in between these two carets like that. Something important to note. I already know what the header is of the column for the list of names. It is called names with lowercase. The only thing you want to make sure of to make your life easy is to make sure whatever you type in here matches the header of the spreadsheet. And you do not want to use spaces. So let's say this was like last name. Don't use a space in here because the merge doesn't like that. The plugin we're going to use called Autocrat, it's not going to like that. So what you would do is you would type last underscore name or dash or something, just so there's no spaces. You don't want any spaces before this. You don't want any spaces after that. You want just characters all the way through, no spaces. So my column is called names, so that's what I'm going to put there. I'm going to center this in there, and I'm going to do center text, and I'm going to do align center, and I'm going to align to the center there. I'm also going to change the text style because whatever this style is of this names is what's going to happen with the spreadsheet. Also, something to note: the casing comes from the spreadsheet. So if your spreadsheet is all capitals, it'll be all capitals. If it's just if it's camel case, it'll be camel case. Whatever it is, that's what's going to show up here. So the casing doesn't matter, but there you go. So there's that. I feel I'm happy with this. I'm good to go. This is done. We move on to the spreadsheet. I already have a spreadsheet here. Oh, actually, real quick before we continue, change the name of untitled presentation to something. I'm just going to call it test data or test slide. we'll need to know that name here in a second. So just change that to something. And this doesn't matter. This can have spaces or anything. That naming doesn't matter. So I'm just going to call it test slide. Okay, so back into Sheets. Once you have your data laid out, and this could be laid out however you want. Remember, the only important thing is to make sure this header matches this tag over here, this merge tag. Okay, excuse me. And then you have your names. And you could have these split up. You could have these however you want. I'm going to make it simple. Names all in one column for now. First and last name, and it's just called names. Okay? Once you have your data all set up and you're happy with that, you're going to go up to extensions, and you're going to go add-ons, and you're going to go to get add-ons. You're going to open this window. Up here in the search, you're going to type in Autocrat. It actually is installed on mine already, so it pops up right here at the top. Here it is right here, the spelling Autocrat. It has this yellow icon with these blue arrows. So once you type it in and do a search, you're going to do an install. Once you install it, it's going to ask you for permissions. Give it permissions because that's the only way it's going to run. Once the permissions are all given, I've given them already, so that's why it's not going to show up right here. You're going to go back to extensions, and it'll show up in this list down here. I have a bunch of extensions, but here's Autocrat. Once Autocrat's installed, you'll be able to launch it. It's going to launch. This should be blank here, I think. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Okay, let me delete this. Yours is going to be blank. There'll be nothing here, just like this. And then we're going to start a new job. Okay? Click that, and you're going to name your job whatever you want to name it. And then you're going to hit next. Right here is where we're going to choose the template we built in Slides. So you're going to hit From Drive, because that's where it's going to save to. And usually what happens, it's the first one right here. It usually goes to the recents right here. If you don't see it here, just do a search in your do a search in the search bar for the title of this slide. Find it, click it, and select it. It's selected. It's going to find the tags. Perfect. We're going to hit next. In order for it to find the tags in my sheet, I have to tell it what sheet to look at because I could have multiple sheets. I only have one. If you have multiple sheets, just select the sheet that actually has the data you're going to merge. There it goes. And it found one tag, which is names, so that was automatic. If this wasn't automatic for some odd chance, you could come over to this list and select that column if it didn't auto-select. But the reason I say to auto-select is because I've had data merges with like 40, 50 tags, and you don't want to go through and have to match those up. It automatically does it if your naming is all correct, okay? Once that's done, you hit next. We want it to be PDFs. We don't want Google Slides, and that's the file it's going to push out. As it does each one of these down the row, it's going to push out a PDF. We don't want a Google Slide. The file of the name can be anything you want. What I like to do is I like to use, it gives you the options in this little flyout menu here. It gives you the options to use one of the columns as data. So I'm going to select names, and then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to hit paste. So what this is going to do is it's going to use the names to name the file. And you could add to this. Let's say you wanted to go, you wanted to say like names, and then you wanted to say, I don't know, file or whatever, anything. It'll put the name and then whatever you type, and that can go before or after that. Just make sure that you keep a space after and before the little carets, so that it doesn't get confused. Okay, and then you're just gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it just as names. That's all I need, but you can do whatever you want. You could add date, time, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit next. This is where it's gonna save. So you just hit choose folder. I already made a folder for it to save to on my drive. It's called Data Test. I'm going to select the folder and hit Select. There it goes. That's where it's going to save my PDFs now. I'm going to hit Next. This is for advanced outside the kind of the scope of this tutorial, so we're not going to go through these next couple steps. We're just going to hit Next. We're going to hit Next, Next, and Save. Okay? Once it does that, and it's done, we're going to hit the play. I have two here just because it doesn't, I don't know, for whatever reason, it doesn't want to delete this one. But you'll just have one here, and once it's done, you're just going to hit play. As soon as you hit play, it's going to start to run through the process of merging all these names to the certificates. And you'll see them start popping up here. Once they start popping up, I'll jump over to my folder where they're going to, and you could actually see the file. And here's something cool. If I actually hover over this, it actually will give me a preview to show me, and you could already see that there's the name of the first one. If I hover over the second one, there's the name of the second one. I'm going to jump over to the folder. This might take a second because it's actually syncing from the net. It's not the actual folder on the drive. So that might take, actually, if I click this, it might just open in the drive itself. Maybe not. Maybe not while it's merging. So here they come. They're coming down. So if I just click on this and preview this, you'll see there's the first one with the name. There's the next one with the name, and so on and so forth. I have 17 in there, and it's going to go through all of them. And you could have however many you want here, and it'll just keep going until it's done. Once you have the data merge all finished, you could either open this up and open them all up in a PDF reader you might have to combine them to make one PDF, or send the PDFs to your printer just the way they are. Open them all up and hit print. However you want to do that, that's up to you. How you want to get that next part done. But as you can see, the merge worked, and I used Canva to build the certificate, and away we go. And it took 10 minutes, and that was me explaining it. So imagine how fast this was if you got used to doing those steps. Pretty quick process, super easy. If you have any questions, hit me up.